Yeah, that's.
I'm getting real tired of the driver's helper sitting next to me telling me how to drive.
My little helper.
Just the handler.
Isn't it amazing? How old are you now? 18?
Yeah.
Huh?
It's so spry.
20 seconds.
You know Ruth Ann Barnes?
Oh, yeah.
She came in to the 90th birthday. And birthday party for her. What do you make of it?
I don't know if she's 90.
She came in today, told she
Yeah, I
was.
know.
She's baby. No.
Recording in progress.
Okay, Gearhart City Council for the March 4th, 2026 meeting is now called to order. Is there any conflict of interest from any of the councilors?
No. I'm just gonna say the same one that I had last month on the liquor license for the same reason.
Okay. All right, approved minutes. We've got the regular meeting of the city council for Wednesday, February 4th. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the minutes except for one thing on page 2, under Councilor Cochrane's report. The fifth sentence, she felt it's compelled, not completed, to add her voice to the growing number.
Or any other corrections? Was that a motion you just made?
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up is executive session for the city council, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Righty. Okay, and next is a special meeting of the city council for Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Motion, please.
Motion to, go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any corrections, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. Next is executive session for the city council on Friday, February 20th, 2026. Can I motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next is a special meeting of the city council on Friday, February 20th, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second. Go ahead.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Next is the planning commission report. Everyone saw that. Looks like Virginia was nominated as president again. So. Continuity. Pardon me?
Can I make a comment?
You can make a comment.
I would just ask that the planning commission be mindful of the budget for planning. With regard to education that they want the planner to provide. Perhaps staff could look and see if equal education could be provided by the LOC or something before we spend money that way.
That's a good point. I was thinking the same thing. That's all.
Okay. Mayor's report, as you saw, we had 1, 2, 3, 5 special meetings. Each one of those included several meetings with Chad and myself. And we did pass the bond issuance and for a general election, and I hope everyone understands this is a necessary step in the process of ensuring that our first responders get adequate work and safety issues taken care of. And I hope you all vote for it. All right, moving on. Council reports, I'll go to Preston.
I've just been talking to the local people about what we're gonna do here as far as the remodel goes. And there's been a lot of comments about the land acquisition and how it came about. I don't think that the general public understands what the benefit of that really is. I'm not trying to explain that to them.
Maybe perhaps we can do some blogging on that issue. So it's made a little more clear for some people.
Well, and I had a discussion with Chad about, about just putting the facts out there someplace that where people can actually go to and see, because now that we don't have the post office, we can't post anything there. So.
Okay.
All right. Dana?
Well, speaking of not having the post office, I have spent a little bit of time this last month. Well, first of all, I went to a CEDAR meeting, and I have spent some time this last month. First of all, trying to get in contact with somebody at the post office, at USPS, not the contractor. And then I did finally speak to somebody last week. And then I was finally able to get a hold of the regional manager yesterday. They said that they've spoken in the past with you and with Chad. And what they're telling me is that they do anticipate this is only going to be a temporary thing. They do have a list of people that want the contract, but they can't just give somebody mail. They obviously have to go through a pretty rigorous background check before they can give them US mail. And so they're asking us all to be patient. I did explain to them some of the problems that we've run into. I explained to them that some people still had mail being held hostage over here. Other people were not understanding that they could designate somebody else to go pick up their mail. Even though the letter said you had to go in and show an ID yourself, other people could go in and pick up your mail. I also explained to them that people were complaining that they closed the post office early, which could be a problem for some of our folks that are working bankers hours that are just trying to get there. And hopefully all of these problems will be short-term, but I'm going to be having a conversation with him again, hopefully within the next couple of days. So I do encourage anybody who has ongoing problems to send an email to me so that I can address them and try and resolve them as best I can. Keep in mind that we're talking about, this isn't even a federal agency. This is a private organization that does not recognize the authority of the city of Gearhart. It's like Warrenton complaining to Seaside about clamming down there. There's only so much I can do except complain. However, the gentleman that I spoke with yesterday was amenable to hearing about the problems and trying to help us find some resolutions. So let's hope that this is a short-term thing. I also have spoken with citizens about the city's proposed public project, and I will be putting out more written information on my Facebook page and sharing it as best I can in the near future.
Thank you. Paulina?
Met with Sharon and Chief Gregory over the noise ordinance that we hope to bring to a work session that's sometime later down the road, just to improve what we already have, as we are getting rid of our repealing ordinance 930. Met with Chad a couple of times about the bond effort and some of the communication things, that just ideas with regard to that. I attended the Clatsop County Housing Task Force. Gearhart, I think if you read through the Planning Commission minutes, it detailed that pretty well, that the Gearhart's participating in a grant with the other cities and LCDC, and it has to do with building middle housing for people who work. There are two properties or two areas, one on Hilaria Road and the other one is cottages up there north of Shamrock Pines. That would be part of the study. It's only a planning grant that they have at this time. And finally, I have an idea about, with regard to the Mechanicsum Watershed Council, who we've given money to in the, shared revenue. And they have a program called Cans for Coho, and they have plastic bags that, are stickered for the Mechanicsum Watershed Council. You fill them up with your plastic bags and some of your, little bit of glass is okay too, as long as it's returnable. And that money goes directly to the watershed. And I just thought if we could get that word out a little bit, and I'm gonna try and do that, that we could offset some of the money that we may not be able to give out of our shared revenue when we get into the budget process. It's just one small thing, but maybe one small thing, a lot of things will add up. That's enough.
Okay, thank you. Sharon?
Okay, several things. Number one, thank you so very much for getting the speed indicator hooked up. I waited for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. I don't even know how long it took. And just on my observation, I walked that route a lot. I feel like people might be going a little bit slower than before it got hooked up. So thank you so much for that. I attended a small cities meeting, League of Oregon Cities and Seaside. I also met with Paulina, Chief Gregory, and Chief Gregory regarding the noise ordinance to fine tune it. We have a meeting tomorrow with those entities as well as Chad and Chad Jacobs so that we can have a legal look at it and weigh in on it as well. I met for 3 hours with a citizen in Gearhart, and he brought up 2 concerns that I thought probably should be further addressed. Number one is the financial state of Gearhart. Sure like to get some information out in general to the public about that. And the second one was, I had questions about our water supply. He says that there are rumors going around that we won't have water this summer from Warrenton, and I told him I had not heard that. Lastly, the post office, I spoke with the lady in charge over there this afternoon, and she said that they have 8 candidates, all of whom they're going to look at. Some of those candidates would not have the post office be where it is. They would have it in a different location. She didn't go into details about that. At any rate, any process that they go through, even if they do find a suitable candidate, is probably going to take 6 to 8 weeks. So we're not looking at having the post office open anytime soon. I doubt it. A neighbor of mine told me that you can have people over at Easy Shipping, Vanessa and Robin, who go to the Seaside Post Office twice a day for their business. You can have them pick up your stuff and take it to their shipping location right here. It costs $9 for the month, which it's unbelievable that they're really willing to do that. And you just go over and sign up and you give them your key. So that would negate you having to go down to the Seaside Post Office, which for me seems really well worth it. That's all.
Thank you. The chief isn't here, Chief Gregory?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight? Then we'll move on to John. Fire chief.
We had 45 total calls for February of this year. 16 were in the city limits and 23 were in the district. We sent out aid 6 times. Twice was the Seaside, motor vehicle accident, and then they needed extra manpower. At one time, they had multiple calls at once. And then we had structure fires in 4 different agencies: Lewis and Clark, Cannon Beach, Warrenton, and Hamlet. The Warrenton one wasn't a structure fire; it was a boat fire, correct? In the marina. We received aid 0 times. We're currently 48 incidents behind last year. But last weekend, in 3 days, we had 17 calls, just those 3 days. So stuff can obviously change with that as usual. A couple other things to note, last month, we, had a group of our volunteer firefighters down there, with the 6th grade field trip. They had Toltano, so there's about 122 students that went through. They looked at the fire apparatus and was able to stack up some of the blocks and cribbing and stuff, and had kind of a show and tell with some equipment there that they had a lot of fun with. We received a wildland fire grant for wildland PPE, for $7,500. One of our firefighters, at our chiefs conference coming up in a couple months, he is receiving a meritorious award from the Western Fire Chiefs Conference for his involvement on the Saddle Mountain Rescue call that Ham had a couple months ago. 8 of our firefighters spent a rainy Saturday helping a local nonprofit do some site prep in our district. They had some work that they just needed some heavy lifting on, so our crew went over to help. And this weekend, just to let some of our people know, this coming weekend is our firefighters banquet, our annual awards banquet. So Seaside Fire will be covering us for that, so they will be responding to our calls instead of us. And then the following week or 2 weeks after that, on the 21st, we cover their banquet. So if anybody wondering about our Seaside apparatus in their town, one of our calls Saturday, that's why. And if there be no questions, that's my report.
Any questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, guys.
You guys have a good evening.
You too.
Right. Master of Money.
So significant in general fund revenues last month were, our annual Northwest Natural Gas and CenturyLink franchise tax payments. We only get those once a year. And the Northwest Natural Gas payment was 7.8% higher than last year. But it did come in lower than we budgeted. So good in the sense where there wasn't a decrease in that revenue. It's just that, bad in the sense where we didn't get as much as we thought we were going to get. CenturyLink was 10% lower than last year and also came in lower than it was budgeted. Again, not necessarily a good thing. CenturyLink has been declining over the last few years anyway. So it's not a tremendous amount of money, but again, we always hate to see decreases. The city also received another quarterly marijuana tax payment after the January report. We are about $90 different from last year, so that's also a good thing. Significant in the building fund, which was 40,099, was a revenue transfer from the general fund. This was a budgeted transfer to support the building department if revenues fell short of expenditures. It's the second transfer this year, and we'll have completely utilized the approved budgeted amount of $10,000. So they will not be able to transfer any more money over there. And the expense was offset in account 101487 transfer to building. In expenditures, there was a general fund account code adjustment of $590. It went from 101050 election expense to 101055 elected official expense. The expense was for an elected official reimbursement that had inadvertently been put in the wrong account code. So we just moved it. In debt service fund 20, there was an interest and principal payment made for the water obligation bond, which is every year. We make an interest payment in December, and then in March, we have the principal and the interest payment due. In state revenue sharing fund 45, the community grants were distributed. And in the building reserve fund 79, there were some public safety building expenses with the remodel. And we have some architect expenses and some other things. So there was some expenses posted to there. The LOC has released new estimates for the 2026 state revenue share revenue for cities. If you get the weekly email, it was in there. So you could go back and look at the actual document if you're interested. These revenues include the liquor, the highway trust funds, the cigarette tax, and the marijuana tax. The per capita distributions for these revenues are calculated based on the certified population statistics from PSU. And Gearhart's population has been projected at $1,975. So that's what we'll be receiving our state revenue share funds from. And that's a 3.67% increase from last year. I think it was 1905. So up is good there. We like to see that. And according to the LOC report, cities should anticipate reduced revenues in the Highway Trust Fund, which is, again, not a good thing for us. We have Fund 60, which we have part of our staff charged to that fund, and it repairs like potholes and some other things. Liquor revenues are supposed to decrease, and cigarette tax revenue, which has been declining on a regular basis over the last few years. And they anticipate an increase in marijuana tax. So we do get a little bit of marijuana tax money from the state. The majority of our money comes from our local revenue, but there is a portion that is state revenue share, and they do anticipate that increase. So that's good. And that's it.
Thank you, Justin. All right. City attorney is not present at the time. Chad?
He's at another city meeting taking care of some things, so he could check in with me earlier today. And I said it would be all right with our agenda. We've got my city administrator report, lots of things on there. It's been busy with all the 5 meetings and putting some things together for the ballot title and all that, but we made it just fine, and staff is doing great. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Public facilities project for council updates. I was speaking with property owners of the property located across from the grade school. This is in the shop building and the grassy area that's out in front of it. The owners are currently reviewing a purchase and sales agreement that we had provided through our attorney and us. Their attorney is also reviewing the document. They indicated that they expect to provide comments or feedback next week on that. No agreement has been finalized. And, you know, in a way, negotiations remain ongoing. But those negotiations, I think, will be per the purchase and sales agreement, not necessarily anything about the price. So the bottom line on that is that we are progressing within the expected timeframe for the stage of negotiations. So things are going well there. What hasn't changed, again, no purchase or sales agreement has been approved. Any acquisition, if the council decides to make it, would take the final PSA agreement, council approval, public meeting, and voter approval in the May 2026 bond measure. Intended use of the Palmberg property, if acquired, remains relocation of public works and temporary fire station during the remodeling process. Any questions about the public safety facilities at the moment? Also, as per Sharon had asked me to do a water update, and which has been timely because also today there was some posting online about water rights in our application. So to update you, in May of 2025, the city of Gearhart submitted a formal application to the Oregon Water Resources Department regarding additional seasonal groundwater rights to supplement our existing well system during peak summer months. That application included updated hydrogeologic modeling and monitoring data prepared by a licensed groundwater professional. The application remains under review by OWRD. No decision has been issued at this time. I checked online today, looked at the application. It's right where we left it in May. So I don't think there's been a lot of movement on WRD. So Gearhart currently supplies the majority of our annual water demand from our own municipal wells that are out on the dunes. During high demand summer months, we supplement that supply with purchased water from Warrenton under a long-standing agreement. And we are currently working on a draft updated water agreement with the city of Warrenton. Discussions between staff have been constructive, and Warrenton has been open to reviewing proposed changes. Our legal counsel is currently reviewing the draft, and any final agreement will be brought before the Gearhart City Council for consideration at a public meeting. No agreement can take effect without council approval. I haven't heard anything on the rates that they're going to be charging us this year, but have been discussing them. And then we've also made some changes to the agreement that I think will work a little bit better for Gearhart in regards to when we take water and giving us some shoulder season. But I can tell you the conversations between Warrenton and us have been good, and we still have a very strong relationship. And I don't know where the information is coming from in regards to the city of Gearhart not receiving water from Warrenton this upcoming summer. That's not the case, and we're still in negotiations. So we've consistently been one of redundancy and resilience. We maintain our own well field and treatment facility. We maintain interconnections with Warrenton and emergency backup connections with Seaside. We're going to continue pursuing additional groundwater rights through the state process. It will take a while, as you can see. And are evaluating regional collaboration options and strengthening our long-term reliability. Water system planning is complex and regulated by the state, and OWRD's review process is thorough and includes consideration of environmental protections, fish habitat, aquifer protection, and we respect that process and are working within it. Gearhart's water system is operating well. It's permitted, and it's serving our residents today. We are planning responsibly for the future demand. That's what we're working through. And we will continue to provide updates as formal decisions and more information comes available to us. So I hope that helps a little bit.
That it?
That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We have no visitors. So we'll move to public communication, written and oral public comment. Anyone wishing to address the city council concerning items of interest not on the agenda may do so at this time. All remarks will be limited to 5 minutes per person. Requests to comment electronically must be submitted by email to the city recorder at info@cityofgearhart.com no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting. In-person attendees wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to the meeting. And no one signed in, so we have no people that want to speak. We have written public correspondence. We have a letter from the United States Postal Service to all the box holders. And it's just an update, and I don't read these things because I get my mail on the street. Late written comment and correspondence, we have none. Okay, and I'll ask, is anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the council at this time on something not on the agenda? Okay, anyone in the electronic world? Raise your hand. None? Okay. Moving on. Ordinance and resolutions. Second read of ordinance 953, an ordinance repealing ordinance 930, known as the contractor work hour ordinance. Chad, will you give us the synopsis, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, so at the January council meeting, a draft ordinance number 951 amending 930 was reviewed. It addressed specific enforcement and clarity concerns centered around the definitions of contractor work hour ordinance number 930. Council had the option to adopt the amendments down the road. Alternatively, ordinance 951 died due to the lack of a motion when council voted 4-1 to instead repeal contractor work hours ordinance 930 in its entirety and enforce noise violations through the current noise ordinance 877 instead. Following that meeting, legal counsel advised that adopting an ordinance to document the repeal was necessary and appropriate. It is attached and it was approved in the January meeting on the agenda for the second reading tonight. Your options are to approve the attached ordinance, read once by title only, make changes to the motion to approve as amended, or take another action as decided by council. That's my report.
Thank you. Is there any motion someone wants to make?
I'll make a motion to approve attached ordinance 953 by reading once by title only.
Second.
All right, there's a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so passed
Okay,
on what?
she named.
Voted no.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't,
It's okay.
Mayor, I'll read that once by title for you.
yeah,
Ordinance 953, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 930, known as the contractor workout ordinance. Thank you.
all right, moving on to new business. Does anyone wish to make a comment for 3 minutes on the liquor license application review for Raven Gearhart? Seeing none, is there anyone in the electronic world wishing to raise their hand? Okay,
I believe you're supposed to call for it when there's discussion.
So you need the motion and the second and then the discussion? Doesn't seem right.
no, no, we asked for a 3-minute comment before we have our motion and discussion. That way they can influence the council if they want. But having hearing and seeing no one raise their hands, Chad, will you do the synopsis, please?
Yes, Mayor and Council, Jeff Gunn of Raven Gearhart is submitting the attached new liquor license application to obtain OLCC approval for a limited on-premise permit. City administrator makes a recommendation to the council of reasoning. Council must make a final decision to approve and formally grant local government recommendation to the OLCC. So your options are motion to approve Raven Gearhart liquor license application with a favorable recommendation, motion to approve with restrictions or changes, deny the application, or take another action desired by council. City staff has gone through the application, and we recommend the city council approve Raven Gearhart's liquor license application with a simple motion. And just for clarity, this is at the Pacific Way Cafe location.
And this is a limited,
This is a limited license.
on-premise license? Okay,
Are you Jeff? Is Jeff in the room?
Yes, he was not able to make it today.
Do you have one question about the application, if I can ask?
sure.
On section 5, the applicant has checked yes, that he confirms the zoning of the property, but the zone is not filled in.
Okay, we can finish that. That would be the C1 zone.
So I make a motion to approve the Raven Gearhart liquor license application with a favorable recommendation, given that the change that we discussed is made.
Okay.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 That's exciting news.
Okay, moving on. Anyone wishing to make a 3-minute comment on the liquor license application for Heirloom Deli? Anyone on the electronic screen, raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll move on. Chad, the synopsis, please.
Mr. Doug Midlack of Heirloom Deli is submitting the attached new liquor license application to obtain OLCC approval for a limited on-premises permit. City administrator makes recommendations, council reasoning, council must make a final decision and approve formally grant local government recommendation to OLCC. Your council options are the same as they were before on the Ravens Gearhart. And city staff, including the city administrator, recommends city council approve Heirloom Deli's liquor license application with a simple motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Heirloom Deli liquor license with the condition that the license is changed to Heirloom Deli local market. Neighborhood market. And that's because we don't have a zoning code that allows a deli to operate.
You want us to officially change our name or DBA?
DBA, it just, a simple change on your license is what we need.
Oh, Heirloom Deli Neighborhood Market?
Yeah,
And I will second.
okay. With changes, all those in favor say aye.
All right,
Aye,
No, I'm abstaining.
and you're abstaining. Okay. All right, moving on, council concerns. Sharon, do you have any?
yeah, just one thing. A friend of mine's been walking up in the Pinehurst neighborhood recently, and on 2 different walks has seen a herd of 10 elk located up there. Unfortunately, within the vicinity of the property where all the elk were previously killed. So my concern is that we don't have to go through that again, and I don't know what it's gonna take so that we don't go through that again. Maybe talking to ODFW, I don't know, I'll explore it, but I'm worried.
Okay, thanks for doing that. Alina,
I have no concerns.
Dana,
I have no concerns.
Preston,
I have no concerns.
I have no concerns. All right, I'll take a motion.
I will give you a motion. Dr. Witcher?
All those in favor?
I,
Adjourn. Thank you very much. for
Recording
being-
stopped.